The unsurpassed, penetrating and perfect truth is seldom met with, even in 100,000 myriad kalpas. Now we can see and hear it. We can remember and accept it. I vow to make the Buddha's truth one with myself. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dharma, homage to the Sangha. So we just had this lovely ceremony for Bodhidharma, but I'm not talking about Bodhidharma today. I often do, but not today. I'm going to talk about autumn, changing seasons. It's early autumn now. It's not really fully autumn, but it's starting. You can see the leaves are beginning to turn, and you know pretty soon they're going to be really beautiful, and then they'll be gone. And it's cooler. We've got nice chilly nights. Lovely, lovely. We love it. And it all happens so quickly. The whole autumn thing. It comes, it goes quickly through, and then it's gone, and it's winter. And it's so apparent at this time of the year, as we always know this, that autumn brings change. The daylight changes day by day. Days are getting shorter, nights are getting longer, and it's even the light's different. We love it. Some of us love it. Thank you, thank you. And of course, it all makes us think of impermanence, our old friend impermanence that we talk about all the time. Autumn's very beautiful, and it comes and goes so quickly. Different every day, as I said. And it's because it's so short and so fleeting that it is so beautiful. It's like the sunset, you know. If it lasted for months, you would get tired of it and we'll just get used to, oh yes, there's the beautiful golden leaves again, you know. But because they're so quick, then we know, we appreciate it. Oh, look at that beautiful tree. I know that in a couple of days the leaves will be gone, whatever. And because of impermanence, there's beauty like that, and there's also joy. And there's gratitude because of impermanence. We don't take things for granted quite so much because they come and go. You know? If everything has stayed the same, there'd be no beauty, there'd be no real joy. It'd all be nice every day, like poor old Devas. And there'd be no real gratitude because we take it all for granted. And as we know, when somebody we know or love, somebody we love especially, is ill, or they're in danger, or they've had something horrible happen to them, we realize how much we love them and we're grateful to them. When something bad happens to us, or we lose somebody we love, or you know, something happens to them, we can be very grateful for what we still have, rather than be embittered by that loss. Just to be grateful for the time we spent with them, the time we may still have with them, even if it's different. Things change, they come and go all the time, and we can be grateful for this very moment and not sort of think, it's not like it was. Because everything comes and goes. We come and go. As we know, recently a lot of people we know have died or had things happen to them, and there'll be more. It's just the way things are. We had a number of people die this summer and fall. Sudden and major changes in people's lives, you know. And on the 17th of October, which is a Friday, we will have the funeral for our dear Reverend Master Serena, who has been, most of us know, and we knew her. She was a monk here for many years. Then she had to go and live in the Bay Area because she had lung cancer and she couldn't take the altitude anymore. She couldn't breathe properly, not enough oxygen. So she had to go live down there, but she always wanted to come back. Her heart was always here. So we're going to do it up and have a really nice funeral for her. So come. If you'd like to come, please come. We'll be most happy to have everybody who can walk come to her ceremony. And amidst all the loss and so forth we've had, we can still be grateful for the presence of all of us here now. We're still breathing, we're still upright, we're still here, and we know each other well because there may be fewer monks than there used to be, so we have to rely on each other more than we used to in ancient days when they had lots of monks. And we all get to know each other better. We have this fabric of kindness and gratitude, which is woven into our very lives. Kindness and gratitude. Kindness to each other, kindness to ourselves, gratitude to each other, gratitude for all the things of our lives, which come and go. Seeing impermanence, really seeing it, is to practice letting go, to relinquish clinging. And this is what the Buddha said was the basis of suffering, was clinging. So we see impermanence, which is a major aspect of Buddhist practice. When we see that, and we can begin to relinquish the grip a little bit, then we can suffer less. Gratitude for something is not a kind of clinging. It's being grateful for something, seeing what we have right now, and appreciating it as it is, or the person as they are right now, and not clinging on. This mustn't change. We can't hold on to anything. Everything comes and goes, as I said, and we can see it, or see the person, enjoy the beauty, and be grateful. Looking at the red and yellow leaves of autumn as they will come and go, we can stop and see them, appreciate their beauty, not just go blindly rushing past, because if we do, we'll miss them, then they'll be gone. You go into town, think, oh, look at those lovely leaves. But if you're rushing to get to a doctor's appointment or something, I'll look at them another time, they'll be gone, If we're rushing blindly through our lives, trying to get from here to there, we miss everything. We miss all kinds of things. And if we can take the time to stop and look and see and be grateful with joy and with gratitude, never taking things for granted, never taking our life for granted. Everything comes and goes, we just do not know. And with this, we can practice kindness to ourselves and to all beings, because everybody needs kindness. Everybody has things come and go. Everybody has joy and suffering. Everybody has things that are really hard. Everybody loses people they love, To just remember that, no matter what people look like, no matter who they are, what they may do, what we may think of them, everybody is just another human being who has joy and suffering in this very life. And if we can remember that, we can have more compassion and kindness to them, and not be just thinking, oh, what a horrible person, I don't like their opinions, all right. We're just human, we're just beings, human, animal, and other. Everything changes, we change, we come and go. Well, seasons are changing, we're going, it feels like sometimes, the nights are getting longer, it feels as though we're going down into darkness. Here we are going into the darkness. But in the southern hemisphere, they're coming up into the light, It's always the same light, it's just in different places. Because we need both. In light there's darkness, and in darkness there's light. Just as it says in the Sando Kai. Just as a sequence does of steps in walking, within all light is darkness, and in darkness there is light. You have to have both. We can be grateful for both the darkness and the light, not just for the light. Because if we didn't have darkness, the light wouldn't mean anything. It would just be daylight all the time, and we wouldn't even notice. It would just be, this is how things are, And if we didn't have light, we wouldn't know what darkness is. It would just be dark all the time, and that's how things are. But having both, we can appreciate both equally. And we need both. In darkness we can rest and we can sleep better in the wintertime. We can grow and we can nourish faith in the dark. When things are hard, we can nourish our faith. Not just that things will get better, but that actually maybe things are just the way they should be. What can I learn from this? How can I deepen my faith? How can I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly in this difficult situation? By seeing impermanence, just seeing there's nothing I can hold on to. Everything comes and goes. Nothing to be taken for granted or to be considered the only thing. You have to have this thing, otherwise I'll be miserable. Everything comes and goes. We come and go. When we die, everything will be taken away from us. We have just consciousness and karma, they say. The things we've done for good or ill. Because we have winter, we can enjoy the spring and summer. Because there's something new, warmer, nicer, lighter. But then, because of summer, we can enjoy the autumn. It's getting cooler, the leaves are changing. And then some of us really enjoy the winter as well. It's nice and cold, how lovely. Not everybody's like that, some of us are. Because everything comes and goes, everything has its place. Our states of mind, they come and go more than anything. And as we look at our little mind, we see that it constantly changes. Everything changes all the time. We cannot hold onto any thought or state of mind really. Each moment is different. Each moment our minds and our thoughts and our feelings are changing. Sometimes it feels like we're stuck in some kind of state. Fear, depression, despair. It feels as though we're stuck there. But actually, we're not really stuck. We're moving. We're moving through that. It's like being in a fog. You think you're stuck there, but actually, we're moving. The fog is moving. Everything is moving all the time. We're not stuck there. Our feelings are moving through. Our thoughts, experiences, they're all moving through. So we don't have to despair, feeling like I'm stuck in this horrible dark place forever. We're not. We're not. We come and go. We think sometimes we need a little help getting out of the pit, but actually that's just part of it. Constantly moving through. And like winter, when winter's here, if you're not a winter person, you can feel like winter's gone on and on for months and months and months. There's never going to be spring. Some of us, if you like the winter better, we think, couldn't we just get nice and cold? Couldn't we have some autumn, please? But no, everything comes and goes. There's no sense in being concerned either way. Just everything comes and goes, everything moves, The earth is moving around the sun. Nothing we can do about it. And things constantly change. We don't always see them so clearly, but it's just the way things are. They're changing, we're changing, just as well. We change all the time, and sometimes we see it, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just need to look and reassess, what's going on in my life. We need to change the way we're looking at something we're kind of banging up against. Or we need to let go of something that we're clinging on to, some experience, some past resentment, our history, some idea, some attitude. We have to let go of everything, really. Sometimes it takes a very long time to come to terms with something from the past. But we can do it. Don't think we're just stuck with it. We can see the gradual change. We can see or trust that it is taking place, even if we can't really see it. Trust that everything is changing, actually, and that we're not stuck. We can change. Just do our best with it, Don't be impatient. We do need those winter days. We need them. And we can be grateful for our states of mind, both the light and the dark ones. They help us, actually. They impel us to do something. The very changing nature gets us to do something. If we were happy all the time, we'd have no reason to change, no reason to do anything, or learn anything. We'd just be, And if we were completely miserable all the time, we wouldn't have any hope. We'd just be miserable all the time. But in this human life, actually, even the miserablest person, I think, has to have moments when it's not quite so dark, And the happiest person has moments when it's not so great, of course, whoever we are. And sometimes the people who seem really happy are quite wretched, really. Or some people who seem really miserable, actually they're doing okay, You think of the poor people who are having some horrible situation. Actually, they're just making the best of their lives, raising their kids, doing what they can in a difficult situation that we might find really difficult. But it's just the way things are for them right now. We don't have to kind of pity people, We can offer sympathy, we can do our best to help as needed. We can offer merit. We don't have to think, those poor beings down there, It's not like that. Everybody has Buddha nature. Everybody has dignity. Everybody has just a little spark within them that can be joyful. Just have a laugh in the midst of a very difficult situation. Nothing is black and white. It's said that our human life is the best one for learning the Dharma, because we have joy and sorrow, light and dark. The very existence of both joy and suffering is what impels us to do something. It's said that the beings in the heavenly realms, where it's nice all the time, they envy us because they just have, it's very hard for them to do something. They have this endless, nice life, cake all the time, and they think, those humans, they have this short life, and they have to really kind of get on and train themselves. Of course they're doing it. Well, some of us are, and some of us, And the beings in hells, how would they get out of that? But they can. Beings can get out of hell because they're Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva of compassion, appears in all the different worlds. Appears in the heavens if people choose to look. Appears in the hells if beings choose to look. Among the animals, fighting spirits, hungry ghosts. All these realms, there is compassion. And in all these realms, beings can look up and see, oh, maybe there's another way to do things. Maybe I don't have to be stuck in this kind of state. Because you can see those realms as real realms, or you can see them as states of mind. I think it's both, actually. And this dynamic aspect in this human realm, where we have both joy and suffering, it's like a dynamic thing. It gets us to do something. The suffering gets us to do something. A little bit of joy helps us to keep going and not just be miserable. Because it's harder when you're a deva or you're in hell. It's harder to train because it seems like you're stuck there. In this human world, things keep moving, actually. Joy and sorrow, light and darkness. And it gets us to not only help ourselves, but to help other beings also. To be of help to beings, because we know they also have joy and sorrow, So we can learn compassion and kindness. We know what suffering is like. Everybody has suffering. And we don't want to add to it and make it worse. We just want to help, Well, impermanence. The joy and sorrow come and go, the light and the darkness come and go. And we don't want to cling to either of them, as I said. If we cling on to joy and light, then we'll dread darkness and sorrow. And if we cling on to youth and health, we dread getting sick and being old. But we can, if we cling on to life, we dread death. And dread is, is worse than the thing, actually, usually. And then we're just living in fear because we're always dreading something. On the other hand, if we're clinging on to our suffering, thinking, this is my life, it's so awful, I'm like this, I have this horrible history, the awful things that happened to me, I can do nothing, then we miss the joy and beauty in life, which are there, and it's hard to change and move on. We just keep perpetuating our suffering. We don't want to cling on to the light or the darkness, actually. Just let it all come and go, not to cling on. Easy to say, sometimes hard to do. Because clinging is resistance, and it causes suffering. Clinging onto the things we're losing, or clinging onto our suffering, or clinging onto the niceness, If we have a happy moment and we think, oh, this will be gone in a minute, well, it's fine, but we can still enjoy it. We had to think, it's all very well, but it'll be gone in a minute. I shouldn't enjoy it, really. It's just to invest wholeheartedly in whatever moment we're in. The moments of joy, the moments of sorrow. Be wholly miserable when you're miserable, but don't hold on to it. Be wholly happy when you're happy, but don't hold on to it. It all comes and goes, Everything comes and goes. Light and the dark, joy and sorrow, life and death. And if we try to resist, we suffer. If we practice acceptance and let everything come and go, let it all flow through our open hand, we can be grateful for all of it, actually. Grateful for the beauty and joy, and stop and see it with fresh eyes. And we can also even be grateful for the dark times, because sometimes they really help us in unexpected ways. Sometimes people get sick all of a sudden, and it makes them reassess their life. What am I doing with my life? Here I am, suddenly I'm sick, I can't do anything. What's important here? You hear stories of this from people we've known, just to make us stop, look at where we're going, what's important to me in my life? What is my life about? Rather than just barreling on thoughtlessly. And we can be grateful for what we still do have, I may not be feeling well, but I can still walk, I can still do stuff, I still have most of my marbles. And when they're gradually drooling away down the drain, well, I've still got a couple left, And if they're all completely gone, well, we just do the best with that. Roots of faith grow in the darkness. They grow better in the dark. We don't keep pulling them up to see what they're doing. Let them grow in the dark. When things are hard, we just need to keep going, trusting in something deeper than what we can see. This grows faith when things are hard and when things are good, but when it's difficult, just to keep on training, doing our best, and never doubting that we're doing what we need to do, just to do our best with whatever we've got. Life is short. We don't have a lot of time. Everything is changing and we're changing as well. And we can use all the situations of our lives to help us to change, to relinquish clinging to our old ways and what we think is safe, to practice kindness to all beings, and to be grateful for everything that comes our way, the light and the dark, and just normal, everyday life. And to look beyond the light and the dark, beyond all these changing conditions of our lives, to that which does not change, which underlies everything, embraces everything, and on which we truly rely. What the Buddha called the unformed, unborn, uncreated, unchanging, undying. That which contains and embraces all of us, all our stuff, all our conditions, all our joys and sorrows, our lies, our horrible mistakes, our little moments of happiness and success or whatever. It's all contained within it. They're all part of it. Nothing left out. And this is what we entrust ourselves to. And this is why we don't need to resist or cling to anything, actually, because it's all embraced within that, the great matter for which we train, to see and know that we're part of it, and it is the whole of us. So Great Master Bodhidharma's teaching today, acceptance of suffering, sitting unmoved, accepting all the conditions of our lives, for good or ill, in stillness and in faith, just sitting still with them all, sitting unmoved, not being pulled off, and practicing the Dharma without any expectation, entrusting ourselves completely to that which embraces all of us. And that's Bodhidharma's teaching for us today. Thank you. Nice to see you all. Thank you for being here.